You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, KOAM teams up with Joplin first responders for a blood drive that rewards donors and saves lives.
Also, a traffic stop turns into a police standoff on Range Line in Joplin.
And of course, we've got hot temperatures for today, plus a couple of chances to cool down for the weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney, and it is 7 a.m. on, I forgot what day you said it was.
Thursday.
July
24th.
Wow. I mean, we're just flowing through July,
We certainly are. We certainly are. And tomorrow, there's still plenty of spots open for the KOAM sponsored Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive with Joplin first responders. Now it's your chance to help support those in need during a critical time of year. KOAM Samantha Walker has the details.
A friendly competition between Joplin Police, Fire, and EMS hopes to inspire the community to give back. As the first responders compete to have the most donations, the Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive helps support the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks.
It draws the need to what we need in the blood industry because we need blood coming in at all times. People are traveling and on vacations, so we need that blood coming in, but it also spotlights the amazing work that our first responders do each and every day. So it's a wonderful thing for both parties.
On average, the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks needs 200 pints of blood every day. High school and college blood drives account for nearly 50% of the blood center supply. So during the summer months, donations dip.
It's a challenging time, like the summertime, kind of been the same thing with winter time. Those difference in people's schedules and activities and vacations and holidays.
And this blood drive is happening at a critical time for donations during the summer months when they see an increase in need.
We are learning in the industry, this is actually called like the 100 most dangerous days during the summer, but that totally makes sense. More travel, more vacations, accidents unfortunately still happen, and we've got to be prepared for that, as well as the cancer patients and the heart patients that are needing the units of blood and blood products every day in their treatments.
The Blood Center says these donations stay in your community. They use local donors to help local patients, supplying blood for over 40 area hospitals. Making a donation is a way to help your community directly, 1 pint at a time.
We want to help each other and support each other, and when you have these kind of events and you tell people why it's so important and they come out of the woodwork to support their fellow man, that hour of your time will give someone else a lifetime.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, the Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive, every donor receives a first responder's t-shirt, a Super Splash Day passport worth $45, and enters to win a $10,000 dream vacation. You can, of course, learn more on how you can donate on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com.
Well, it would be a good day tomorrow to get out and donate because it's going to be a little bit cooler.
Okay, yes,
okay, not too much cooler for summertime. As cool will go, but today we're only, today we're getting up to 104 heat index, so we still have heat advisories issued for Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, along with a couple of counties out there in Kansas, right along our Missouri border. Now that expires later on this evening because, like I said, tomorrow's going to be a bit cooler. Just by heat indices, going to be down below 100. Now, we haven't seen that in at least a week. It's been pretty hot, so it'll be a nice chance to get outside. Now, currently out in Joplin, it's about 76 degrees. It still feels like 76 degrees, so we're off to a good start. Our future feels like, though, really going to spike up today. Temperatures reaching the mid-90s, and it's going to feel like 101 in Joplin, Carthage, 100 in Lamar, 103 in Parsons, Independence, and Veneta, 102 out there in Grove. So it's still going to feel pretty hot. Now, we do have shower chances moving in tonight, a front that's going to be pushing in and cooling us down. You can see where that boundary is that has cooler air moving in right behind it. Now, currently, a few showers out there towards the west of Wichita and even towards the west of Yates Center. They're popping up as well. So we want to watch those as they push in. Not expecting really anything to be moving in this morning until later on this evening. So most of the day we've got mostly clear skies. By noon we're in the low 90s. It is going to be pretty warm out there, getting up to about 96 in Joplin, 95 in Columbus, and then later in the evening those shower chances do push into southeastern Kansas and northern parts of our counties. Now I'm going to have more details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. We'll see you soon. Well, what began as a traffic stop turns into a police standoff that ties up traffic on Joplin's busiest street. According to Joplin police, a patrol officer recognized this man, Mark Treese of Carthage, in the Lowe's parking lot. Now, he had active warrants from Carthage. The officer tried to stop Treese, but he left the lot in his vehicle. He ended up parking in the lot of the Pinnacle Bank across Range Line. Police say Treese initially refused to get out of the truck. That's when officers saw a second person inside the vehicle, Sean Gillis of Webb City. Gillis also refused to cooperate. Treese got out of the truck after more officers arrived. Now, officers learned that Gillis had a gun, prompting officers to call in JPD's SWAT team. Gillis eventually got out the truck and was taken into custody. He's arrested for resisting arrest and not cooperating with officers for information. Authorities file formal charges against the suspect in a DUI crash that injured a PSU student. The suspect is 39-year-old Jared Query of Fort Scott, Kansas. He's now charged with aggravated battery while driving under the influence. Authorities say this is his third DUI offense. He's also charged with driving while suspended for the second time. Other charges: transportation of liquor in an open container and no proof of vehicle insurance. He's accused in a crash that injured PSU softball player Kendall Forbes in Bourbon County, Kansas, Sunday night. In a social media post, her mother says Kendall is hospitalized in Kansas City and her condition has been improving. A news release from PSU Athletics Director Jim Johnson says, quote, "The thoughts and prayers of Gorilla Softball and all of Gorilla Nation remain with Kendall and her family during this time. There has been a tremendous outpouring of love and support for Kendall, and we encourage that to continue as we strive for healing and her full recovery." Well, of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can always download the KOAM News app, available free of charge in the App Store of your choice. All you have to do is search for the KOAM News app. Well, a sentence of life in prison for the man who pleaded guilty to murdering 4 college students at their rental home in Idaho in 2022. In court Wednesday, the families of the victims and their surviving roommates confronted 30-year-old Brian Koberger, sharing word of sadness, anger, and even forgiveness. Jared Hill has the latest.
As Brian Koberger sat stone-faced at his sentencing, moments of anger.
You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser.
And anguish.
What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break.
Dylan Mortensen survived the night in 2022, saying she saw a masked man move through her off-campus house before Koberger killed Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Zana Kernodal, and Ethan Chapin. Another roommate who survived had a friend read a statement on her behalf. Earlier this month, 30-year-old Koberger pleaded guilty, sparing him from the death penalty.
Go to hell.
Investigators say they tried for years but haven't been able to find a connection between the killer and his victims. Given a chance to speak Wednesday, Koberger simply replied,
"I respectfully decline."
Late Wednesday, police from Moscow, Idaho released hundreds of documents revealing details about the investigation, including that one roommate heard the killer in the house say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." The files also revealed one victim was stabbed more than 50 times.
His actions have made him the worst of the worst. Even in pleading guilty, he is giving nothing hinting of remorse or redemption.
An emotional judge, Stephen Hippler, sentenced the killer to 4 consecutive life sentences. Koberger waived his right to appeal.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Joplin Police, Fire, and EMS compete for a good cause as the Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive tackles summer shortages. And later, a new Missouri law makes estate planning more accessible by allowing people to create wills without leaving their house. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Welcome back. Tomorrow, local heroes are rolling up their sleeves for a life-saving cause. The Boots, Badges, and Bandages Blood Drive is back, bringing together Joplin Police, Fire, and EMS for a friendly competition. Now, here to share more about the event and ways you can get involved, we have Joplin Fire Chief Daryl Dizelle and Belinda Belk from the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks with us this morning. Happy to have you both. Thank you so much for being with us. So the Boots, Badges, and Bandages Blood Drive happening again. Talk to me about what it is and just the friendly competition among our first responders.
You bet. We have a database of wonderful donors, but during the summer it's always a challenge to keep people's attention and remind them that the need for blood never takes a vacation, like everybody's traveling and on vacation. So we have great success with these kind of blood drives, and it spotlights the amazing work of our first responders that they do every day, but it also highlights the continued need for blood.
Absolutely. Now talk to me. You guys at the Joplin Fire Department are going toe-to-toe with both EMS and the Joplin Police Department. Talk to me about that friendly competition.
I mean, really, realistically, it is a friendly competition. I mean, the true winners are the patients that need this blood. I know we give each other a hard time over this competition, but you know, in reality, we're all after the same thing. We're looking to get as much blood as we can donated, so that we can help patients out here in the four-state area.
Absolutely. Now this is of course tomorrow, but there are still spots for people to sign up.
There are.
Talk to me a little bit about that process and how people can do so.
You bet. It's very, very easy. Just go online to cbco.org. You can call our number at 417-227-5006, and you can just go online, find our spot, and book a time. You know, if someone has never donated, it's a very easy process, about 45 minutes to an hour of your time. Bring your identification with you. We'll do a quick medical checkup with you and ask you some health history questions. You'll donate and you'll have a snack. Mercy in Joplin is providing wonderful food for us. That's special. And so that's just a way to contribute, to donate. Takes an hour of your time to give someone else a lifetime. I love that little saying.
Absolutely. Now it's only an hour of your time, but Chief, talk to me a little bit for that, what you might say to people who are on the fence about donating but really want to help out people in the community.
I mean, realistically, if you don't like needles, there's a little bit, a little needle stick there, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's very little to see the benefits that somebody's going to see at the hospital from this. Great thing is this all stays local. Every ounce of the blood that is donated stays here local. So, I mean, come on out and see us tomorrow. Like I say, probably going to see some banter back and forth between the different agencies there, but it's all in good fun, and it's realistically, it's to help the citizens and the communities around us.
All in good fun for a very good cause. Well, thank you.
We love this.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Of course, the Boots, Badges, and Bandages Blood Drive starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Joplin Public Training Center. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh, we've got a pretty sunny start to our day. Still some light traffic out there in Pittsburgh. Now, taking a look at 7th and Range Line, we have a few upper level clouds. It's not going to block out the sun by any means, and they're also not going to be around for much longer. They do clear out pretty early this morning, and then we're back to mainly sunny skies for the rest of the afternoon. It does not help with our heat advisories, though. We do have a heat advisory still in effect until this evening for Missouri counties, Arkansas counties, and Oklahoma counties, along with Kansas counties right along our Missouri border. Now, again, that is only until today before it expires this evening. We do have a cooler day in store for us on Friday, so we're not looking too bad. Now, we've got a few showers that could be pushing into a few of our far western counties. Not expecting these to be long-lived, but they may make it out to Fredonia, maybe even Chanute, Iola. Again, very light showers. Not really expecting these to make it into the area. But the ones that are out near Wichita, very slow moving along the front, those could be pushing in later on this afternoon. Now, currently temperatures are about 75. It still feels like 75, so we're off to a great start. That is not going to be the case for most of the day. With higher dew points means higher heat index. And our dew points currently are still manageable. We're in the upper 60s, low 70s, but really anything above 65, it is going to be pretty muggy, pretty humid, and that just drives up our heat index. So what it feels like outside is going to be way warmer than the actual temperatures. Now, currently, again, we're in the mid 70s. That's our actual temperature. With dew points that are about what the actual temperature is, we're looking pretty good. 76 in Webb City is what it feels like outside. 78 in Parsons, 79 in Neodesha and Yates Center and Independence. So a little bit warmer out in our western counties. That's just going to continue to drive up as our temperatures drive up. So by 11 a.m., we're already near 90. Again, mostly sunny through the morning. We will have a couple of those isolated afternoon shower chances and thunderstorm chances this evening and into Friday, mainly along our western counties, northern counties, and in southeastern Kansas. But until then, temperatures reach about 95 degrees with our heat index up to 104. That's going to be the max it could get today. But most of us are in the low hundreds, about 100 to 103. South of I-44, 99 in Neosho, 97 in Bella Vista, 96 in Cassville. That's our future feels like, which is equivalent to our heat index. 101 in Joplin, 102 in Oswego, Independence, Fredonia, 103. Now, we do have that front pushing in tonight. That's going to help us out as we head through Friday. Friday afternoon, only getting up to a heat index up to 100 degrees. Most of us are going to be in the upper 90s, so much better. Now, again, as we move through this afternoon, we could see a couple of isolated showers popping up there in southeastern Kansas, but then later on in the afternoon and evening, this is about 3:30, those storms start to fire back up, moving along our western counties and into our northern counties. Also could see some strong wind gusts, 50, 55 miles per hour. Those linger all the way until Friday morning. It does cool us down. Our actual temperature is still in the mid 90s, but our heat index, remember, lower than 100 degrees, so much nicer. Temperatures return back to upper 90s by the weekend and next week, along with those heat index in the low hundreds. But that's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, Missourians will soon have a new digital option for estate planning. Governor Mike Kehoe has signed legislation that allows electronic wills to be completely valid and treated like full-fledged wills in the Show Me state.
The wills can be signed and witnessed online, but as KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, a lawyer from Modern Law in Joplin is not entirely in favor of this new law.
I guess I would leave back my car that I have. Not the greatest car, but it's a car.
Michael Dietz is from Carthage, and since he's a resident of the Show Me state, he will be allowed to plan his will digitally.
Thought about making one because I never know when I'm going to die.
Soon, under the new law, Dietz can sign a will in the comfort of his own home. Lawyer Jacob Adamson from Modern Business and Estate Planning Law says it will provide some benefits.
I think you'll start to see prices come down on this type of service. I think it'll be more affordable for rural Missourians, and it'll make the legal system more accessible for those people.
I guess for younger people like me, it'll probably be easier, but for older people, like my grandpa, it would not be.
And this is what Adamson is worried about.
I do think it's very important for us to meet face-to-face with our clients, especially the elderly clients. I think it's important to establish that trust and to give them that reassurance that what they're doing is correct.
Adamson says it could hurt law firms in rural areas.
I think what you'll see is there will be a large influx of online-only law firms that will specifically offer this service.
For now, Dietz will keep trying to figure out what assets will go where.
My cash assets, which not very much, but...
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, the new law is set to go into effect on August 28th. Definitely interesting.
Yes,
for sure.
And I am intrigued to see how it all turns out.
Absolutely. All right, well, coming up, cattle prices soar in southwest Missouri, and one local farmer explains why your beef costs more at the grocery store.
And we have a mostly sunny day, but we could get some rain showers later on this afternoon. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28, just coming up on 7:29 this morning. I'm Elise Snowy. The Carthage R9 Board of Education has announced an expansion to its district. 25 acres of land located east in close proximity of the high school campus will be used as space for the high school's agriculture program. Potential plans include putting in a gravel parking lot, perimeter fencing, crops, essential farming equipment, and equipment shed. While the school district has no immediate plans for any full-scale development on that land, the district is grateful for the expansion.
The priorities for our school board is not necessarily expansion, but when an opportunity comes along to better the school district, we're obviously going to look into it. So it's an incredible opportunity for our students. They'll be able to just walk outside of their classroom and have access to the grounds where we can keep all of this.
Now, the land was sold below market value for $400,000 thanks to the help of Bill and Laura Phelps, who are big supporters of the Carthage School District. And Connect to Culture is announcing its 2025-2026 season, featuring a mix of national acts and local favorites. The lineup includes 3 series: Curtains Up, Cornell, and Ignite, with performances at the Cornell Complex in Joplin. Organizers say the new season is designed to engage with the community and highlight a range of talent.
Our artists are always just really wonderful. You know, they're great people. We love working with them. A lot of times people are surprised by that, but that's just what you're going to get when you come to a Connect to Culture show. You're going to get a really quality artist, you're going to get your money's worth, and you're going to want to come back.
We have more details, including performance dates and ticket prices, on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, even with the heat and humidity sticking around, the 89th annual Ozark Empire Fair will kick off today with farmers and ranchers arriving to set up and show off their top stock. Now, just like last year, plenty of precautions are in place to help keep their cool as the fair heats up. For smaller livestock like poultry and rabbits, there'll be an air-conditioned space. For larger livestock, farmers have their own fans set up with water and feed for their animals. Not only do organizers say the barns to house the cattle, but they also have plenty of big fans and are well ventilated. The fairgrounds has another layer of safety ready to go.
We do have a state vet that's on site all the time. The state vet comes in and checks all those animals, and they have to have proper identification and everything. So there's protocols to the animals, just like the health department to our concession stands.
The fair isn't forgetting about visitors when it comes to keeping cool either. Organizers are reminding people the E-Plex, Wilson Logistics Arena, and some food stands have air conditioning to help beat the heat. Plus, vendors will have refreshments available along with patrolling law enforcement and first aid to keep people safe. Let's head over now to Lindsay for a quick look at the forecast.
Well, our heat advisories are still in place through the rest of the evening today. You can see all the way out in all of our counties in Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, along with a few counties out there in Kansas, right along our Missouri border. Now, those are extended through this evening. They expire tonight, though, because we'll have a cooler day in store for us on Friday. Until then, temperatures are quickly warming up. About 76 degrees outside. It feels like it. We are doing pretty good through this morning. But unfortunately, it's not long-lived. Once we get later into this evening, temperatures jump up to the mid-90s, and our heat index is going to be in the low hundreds, up to about 104. Now, we do have shower chances that is going to push some cooler air into the region. That cools us down for Friday. We'll still be in the mid to lower 90s, but our heat index is going to be a few degrees lower. Now you can see we've got a few showers popping up ahead of this line of storms. Now you can see not really making it into the area. Might get a couple of isolated showers there through the morning hours. No thunderstorm chances. And then as we head into later this evening, we could see those thunderstorm chances returning to southeastern Kansas along our western and northern cities. Now, temperature is reaching mid to upper 90s today, and then those showers are going to be pushing in later around 9 p.m. through this evening and into Friday morning, but I'll have all those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with this KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Well, beef prices have increased due to supply and demand, and KOAM's Ty Parks has the story with the local cattle rancher.
It's tough. It's very expensive. If you're not in it, it's extremely hard to get in it. Right now, it's so hard to purchase cattle because they're so high. And then once you do get cattle, where are you going to sell them? Are you going to process them and sell them at a farmer's market or at a grocery store, or where are you going to sell them?
According to the weekly market summary released on July 21st, Southwest Missouri steers are selling higher, with the most on heifers under 625 pounds. Tim Cooper of Stormy Farms believes today's prices are due to a high demand during COVID.
And they started doing things with their food. And people started looking at grass-fed beef, grass-fed, pasture-raised, all of these different things versus store-bought stuff. And when all that was going on, the market got flooded with animals because everyone was butchering everything they could because they didn't know what was going on with the world.
Now, some years after COVID and a drought in 2022 that caused the prices of hay to increase.
Well, now we're in a position where we're having to raise our cattle back and restock everything because now everybody wants cows, but we don't have any. And since we don't have any, the few that we have, supply and demand, causes the price of beef to go up even more.
With the increase of input costs and with the increase in demand, Sam Cooper is still hopeful for the future.
Never going to leave. I don't care what the money adds up or how it adds up, where it comes out. I'm going to be a farmer for the rest of my days. As long as I can be out here in the grass and the sunshine, this is what I want to do.
Jasper County, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Well, some in the industry believe increasing supply could bring down the price of beef in the future. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A children's hospital's therapist creates Camp Rock, where kids with differences climb to new heights and build self-confidence. Well, in Consumer Watch, Bestway, Intex, and Poly Group are recalling certain above-ground pools that are 48 inches and taller because of a drowning hazard. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says straps that wrap around the pools on the outside of supporting poles may create a foothold, allowing a child to access the pool even without a ladder or steps. The agency says it believes 9 children have drowned that way in the pool since 2007. Uber says it's starting a program to let women passengers pick female drivers or share a ride with other women. Testing of the Women Preferences program is set to begin in the next few weeks in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Detroit. In a statement, Uber said women customers will see an option called Women Drivers in the app. And it's a tongue twister mashup between fast food chain Wendy's and the popular Netflix series Wednesday. The two announced the Wendy's X Wednesday Meal of Misery ahead of the show's season 2 part 1 premiere next month. The meal launches nationwide on August 4th and includes a Raven's Blood Frosty, 4 Inferno-inspired mystery dips of dread, rest in 10-piece nuggets, and cursed and crispy fries. Wednesday fans will also have the chance to win $10,000 through the interactive Escape from Wednesday's Woe game experience on the Wendy's app. Now, the beginning of the show's second season comes to Netflix August 6th. Well, average home insurance policy costs across the country have gone up in the last year, and it's due to a variety of factors. Jen Sullivan looks at the rising costs and what you can do to try and save money.
From ravenous wildfires to devastating tornadoes, natural disasters are becoming more frequent and more intense. Last year, there were 27 confirmed weather and climate disasters in the U.S., with losses exceeding $1 billion, according to NOAA. Because of this, many home insurance companies are raising policy rates.
There are more natural disasters happening, and they're affecting more homes.
Holden Lewis with NerdWallet says they recently conducted a survey among homeowners and found 54% said their premiums have gone up in the last 12 months. These rate hikes aren't specific to certain states, it's nationwide.
They end up having to pass along some of those costs to states that might have lower fewer natural disasters.
State Farm recently raised home insurance rates by an average of 27.2% in Illinois. They say it's because in 2024, for every dollar they collected from policyholders, State Farm paid out $1.26. State Farm said Illinois had the second highest hailstorm damage claims last year, totaling $638 million. Telling CNN in part, accurate risk-based pricing makes sure that insurers like State Farm can pay claims during some of life's toughest moments for policyholders.
Some of the most costly natural disasters are hailstorms.
Inflation and the rising cost of supplies is also contributing to higher premiums. But Lewis says there are things you can do to help lower your rates. Adding roof trusses or upgrading your garage door can help get a better rate. Also installing fire alarms and security systems. And shop around to compare different companies' premiums. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Well, so far this morning, it's been a pretty great day. You can see we've got mostly sunny skies, a few clouds out there. Traffic is picking up now as we're heading through the mid-morning hours. You can take a look at 7th and Rangeline. Still pretty sunny. We've got some upper level clouds. It's not going to block out the sun by any means, but they're also not going to be sticking around for very long, which just adds to the heat index that we're going to see later on this afternoon. That does cause us to have our heat advisory remain in effect until the rest of the evening. Out in Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, along with a couple of counties in Kansas right along our Missouri border. Those expire later on this evening. Now, currently, we've got a few isolated showers popping up out near Chanute, Yates Center, moving into Iola. These are not going to be long-lived. They're moving up towards the northeast. And then we're having a bit of a lull before our next round of showers moves in. Now, those aren't going to be thunderstorms, just brief light showers through the area. But what we're waiting for is our front to be pushing into the area. You can see where our low pressure is farther out there in Kansas. Now that front is going to be moving in later on this evening. That's causing us to actually have a bit of a cooler day tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's not going to cool us off much today. Temperatures are still going to be in the mid to upper 90s. Now it's about 77 right now. It's starting to feel a little bit warmer than the actual temperature. We're up to 78 feels like temperature, and our dew point is in the low 70s. Now, dew point is what the humidity is outside. So you can see it's feeling like it's 74 degrees in Pittsburgh. That's our humidity. Means it's going to be pretty muggy, pretty humid. We're at the higher end of this, and that's just causing our heat index to really ramp up. Now, currently it's 80. It feels like 82 degrees in Fort Scott, 81 in Yates Center, but the rest of us are still pretty on par with our actual temperature right now, though that's going to change in the next couple of hours as our temperatures start to warm up into the 80s and the near 90 by 11 a.m. That heat index is going to rise way quicker than our actual temperature. So currently today we're getting up to about 95, 96 degrees, but our heat index reaching 104. So it's going to feel like 10 degrees warmer than it actually is. We get some isolated afternoon showers. Those are going to be cooling us down for tomorrow. So you can see we're in the low hundreds for our heat index today. It's what it's going to feel like outside. We get that front moving in, that colder air mass. And then tomorrow we're only going to be in the upper 90s. So it's going to feel like to about 100 Baxter Springs, Miami Grove, Veneta. Not too bad on Friday. Those do return to higher temperatures as we head into the weekend. Now taking a look at our future radar by 9 a.m. We've got those showers that are now moving out towards the north of us. Then we're going to expect to see a couple more shower chances popping up later in the afternoon and early evening. So it's about 8:39 p.m. Starting to see some of those showers pushing in, even a bit of a gust front there. Could see 50, 55 mile per hour wind gusts. Those linger through the overnight hours. It's about 11:30. Still getting showers in southeastern Kansas, and then continuing into Friday morning. Now that's why we're going to see a bit of a cooler temperatures on Friday. Still actual temperatures in the mid 90s, but it's going to feel a lot closer to mid 90s versus it feeling like it's in the hundreds. That changes as we head into Saturday and the rest of the work week next week. Back into the upper 90s with high heat index values. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, kids whose hands and arms look different are climbing to new heights at Camp Rock, hosted by the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Stephanie Stahl shows us how these kids are learning adaptive rock climbing skills with creating bonds with others just like them.
Yep, I'm ready.
10-year-old Nate Brandt is clipped in and hits the wall, climbing to new heights, working around his left hand that's small, something he was born with that he's given a nickname.
I usually call it a lucky fin.
A lucky fin. Yeah. I love that.
It sometimes gets annoying, like, explaining it because people always, like, ask.
He explains it's just part of who he is, something that doesn't stop him here at Camp Rock for children with hand and arm differences.
This could mean any combination of things. It could be shortened limb, larger limbs, missing fingers.
Megan Penke is an occupational therapist at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia who created this camp for patients like Noah Hanko, who has a congenital disorder that causes an overgrowth of his hands.
Sometimes I can't open like jars and stuff.
Okay.
And also like it's small buttons I can't do.
But he has no problem on the rock climbing wall and doing crafts surrounded by other children who know what it's like to be different, who get used to the comments and questions.
Wow, those are big hands. What happened?
And what do you say?
God created me that way.
In addition to having fun, this camp is also designed to help the kids build confidence.
Hopefully impact their overall self-concept and confidence in life, so they just understand that they really can move forward and do anything that they want to do in life.
But it sort of feels like really weird and uncomfortable for me.
Right.
In some positions.
Kennedy Bracken, who has a birth injury to her shoulder, is excited about rock climbing, where she's conquering fears.
I am afraid of heights, and it's scary to look down a little bit, but I'm a lot less scared than I was on the first day.
Learning it can be fun to overcome challenges.
I love Camp Rock. It's amazing.
A place where differences are embraced and empowered.
What a fantastic program, not only for them to try something new, but to also do it with people who have similar impairments as them. It's just great to see the community.
And to getting over a little fear. She said, she's afraid of heights. So am I. It would not be something I would be good at. It'd be
look
shaking
at her
the
go.
whole time.
She was doing great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's not doing amazing is the weather. It's still going to be pretty hot, at least for today, getting into about 95, 96 degrees with the heat index in the low hundreds up to about 104. So still heat advisories in effect through this evening. Shower chances and thunderstorm chances return this afternoon and overnight, lingering into Friday morning. Now temperatures are still in the mid 90s, but the heat index is a little bit lower, only getting up to just about 100 degrees. Warmer temperatures return over the weekend.
Well, this is your Wake Up Recap for July 24th. The top stories to start your day. Let's stand off with Joplin Police ends with 2 men in custody. Mark Treese of Carthage and Sean Gillis of Webb City refused to cooperate with officers, which led to a standoff in the parking lot of Pinnacle Bank on Rangeline. Now, after some time, both men were taken into custody without incident. Treese was arrested for multiple warrants from Joplin and Carthage. Gillis was arrested for resisting arrest and failing to comply with an officer. And authorities filed formal charges against 39-year-old Jared Query of Fort Scott in a DUI crash that injured a PSU softball player. He's now charged with aggravated battery while driving under the influence. He's accused in a crash that injured PSU softball player Kendall Forbes in Bourbon County, Kansas, Sunday night. And there's still plenty of spots open for the KOAM sponsored Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive with Joplin first responders happening tomorrow. It's your chance to help support those in need during a critical time of year. Every donor receives a first responders t-shirt, a Super Splash Day passport worth $45, and enters to win a $10,000 dream vacation. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
Well, and we have high temperatures today reaching about 96 degrees with heat indices reaching about 104. And then we're met with a few rain shower chances later this afternoon and evening. Those are going to linger into Friday morning, cooling us down a bit for Friday. Our temperatures still reach mid 90s, but our heat index only getting up to the upper 90s and about 100. Now, high temperatures and high heat index values return for the weekend and into the start of next week.
Well, summer is certainly here.
It is.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, it's hard enough to be a sideline reporter for a sporting event without having to dodge sprinklers. But Apple TV's Sasha Kleshstand and Kaylin Kyle were sent into a quagmire before the MLS All-Star Game on Wednesday night in Austin, having to dodge sprinklers while learning on the fly what their directions and patterns are.
And doing it all to provide you, viewer of sports, with the information you need to enjoy the game. They were simply doing their job and they got wet in the process.
Look at them go. I mean, could you imagine going out and doing a weather forecast and getting hit with some sprinklers?
I did once last year, but it was a rain shower.
It was rain showers. That is
so
true.
It was not great. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.